Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. In the name of Allah, praise to Allah, peace and blessings on His Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Just gonna respond to Mr. Investigate Islam. You've been on YouTube for some time, trying to confuse people. Your techniques have been exposed by many people, yet you tend to come back and ridicule them, try to mock them, try to make fun of them, try to twist the meaning of things, trying to appeal to ridicule and to deceit and different things. Your points are vague. I don't think anyone takes you seriously, to be honest. Even Christians, okay, to whom you supposedly represent, you say peace and blessing Lord Jesus Christ, and then you start mocking people when Jesus taught to pray for your enemies, right? Supposedly, not to curse them. So you are a shame, I would say, to Christianity, and a shame to Islam, claiming to know Islam, calling Muslim kids, come learn Islam from me. No one wants to learn Islam from you. You need to go to the ABCs of Islam and learn Islam. Read the Quran, read the Sunnah, and then we'll talk. Where do I come saying this? From your arguments, from your videos. Clearly shows anyone who has any kind of knowledge can tell you that. Your arguments are nothing. I mean, what are you trying to prove? You show women, in pictures with their Muslim women with hijab and then showing their legs, and then you try to ridicule them, you make fun of them, you make fun of Muslims, you imitate them, you call them potatoes, kids, these things. I mean, what's wrong with you? Is that how much you hate Muslims? You put Muhammad Tube and put all these bad videos. I mean, some of the things that you put out there, you have no clue. When it comes to science, stick to your field. Stick to Christianity if you want to. You don't even know about science. The one video, I mean that, and I responded to that it was funny that you said when the person goes in high altitude, that his chest actually expands. Anyone that studies science, go anywhere and search, just to show the flaw of your arguments. Just go and research that, okay? What happens? And you're like ridiculing them that, look, the Quran doesn't know. The Quran got it right on, because it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah knows exactly what happens to the lungs, to the chest, when you go to high altitude. This is just an example of your false argument in science. And you talk to the brother here about infallibility of the prophets. And you try to twist the message, okay? This is round and around, trying to go around to confuse people. You're saying so many things. You call them potatoes, and you're quoting here and there, but you're not saying anything. Really. You're saying, but you're not saying. The brother was making the argument in our Aqidah as Muslims, okay, the infallibility of the prophets in them delivering the messages, which the Prophet ﷺ has done, which all the messengers have done, has no bearing whatsoever on the fact that the Tawrat and the Injil were corrupted by the humans. Because Allah did not say that those are infallible, okay, the books, in terms of not being corrupted. Okay, the books were corrupted by the people. They're not preserved, and it's proven. I can prove it to you right now. I can prove it to you in the next video if you feel like talking about it. The infallibility comes in the messengers delivering the message. They gave the message. Jesus gave the message. Moses gave the message. Abraham gave the message. Prophet Muhammad gave the message. It has no bearing whatsoever on the book. The book that was told that it's going to be preserved is the Quran. No falsehood attacks it. That's as simple as that. There's no connection between the two arguments that you're making. Learn argumentation. Learn how to make your arguments properly. No one will take you seriously. Only those who are blind and they won't see the proper issue of when you're the points that you're making. Don't try to imitate people. Don't try to make funny voices. This is not gonna work. This is not, a person who's educated is not gonna be impressed by this. You're not gonna guide people to Christianity by this. You're just gonna move them farther apart. No one's gonna listen to you. I'm making these videos again. We did try to get you to talk to you, to have that discussion. You never replied. I got Sheikh Muhammad because you said my Arabic, blah, blah. You try to attack me again, put me down. You try to attack everyone. We brought Sheikh Muhammad, no reply from you. We invite you for a discussion, no reply. You try to discuss to Osama Abdullah. They're not scholars, okay? You keep saying scholars. Come on, man. A scholar would not waste his time with you. That's the whole issue. That's why scholars don't respond to you. They don't waste their time on YouTube. They go and teach the people who are willing to learn, who have an open heart and an open mind. They're not going to teach people or talk to people who are like coward and potato and your woman showing her leg and this and that and vagina, black house where the Kaaba is the house of prostitution. Look at the titles of your videos. It reflects what kind of mind you have. So please, you're ashamed on Christianity. You're ashamed on the Christians. All the Christians who are out there and they're following him. You should really think about where this guy's putting it. And really, I fear the day, man, when you're gonna have to stand before your Creator and explain yourself in what you used to do. Man, good luck. Well, there's not gonna be no luck. Exactly. Anyway, you talk about satanic verses, trying to prove your point with Allah and the idols. Read the next verse in Surah Najm. It's saying these are names you're inventing. There's no authority. Is this a fair share? It's like you have no authority for them. The next verse was supposed to come after have you consider Allah and Uzza and the idol, right? The next verse is supposedly, according to what you quoted, right, from Ibn Hisham and related by a Tabari, supposed to be that their intercession is accepted, they're highly regarded, right? But then the next verse would refute it right away. Watch my satanic verses video. How come people prostrated? They would never prostrate. The prostration came at the end. If you read the whole Surah Najm, see that there's a prostration. It says, fall and adore your Lord. Allah, right? Allah, not Allah and Uzza. So it's an order for prostration. That's why everyone was affected actually by what the Quran was saying. There was no mention about this. Was an invention. And scholars have debated the reliability of it. Okay? Some people have said, it might have happened. The issue is the Quran easily clears it out. That's what Islam teaches us. Check. These are scholars. They are humans, again, going back to the issue of infallibility. They are humans. They can make a mistake in that. They're not infallible in religious matters. Not At-Tabari, not Ibn Shah, not Ibn Kathir, no one. The Prophet ﷺ was the one. The prophets. Okay? So please, you said you're going to prove from our book, from the Quran. You didn't prove nothing from the book, from the Quran. You quoted a source, I'll quote you another source. And I'm quoting you the Quran to easily disprove your argument. Go watch my video on satanic verses. Easily disprove. You talked about how you debated with Sanad about magic and the Prophet ﷺ being influenced by magic. Yes, he was a human. A Jewish person made a curse on him, a magic thing. He tied knots. And then Allah sent the angel and they removed it. He was a human person. Just like Jesus. That doesn't prove in whatsoever that his message was not delivered. He was just a human. We don't claim he was God. We don't claim nothing. It has no bearing again on the message. It shows that he was a human. He was put to all these tests, he got sick, he had to eat, he had to go to washroom, he had a wife, he was just a human. We can relate to him. We learn from things that happened to him. But what about Jesus? Suppose Jesus is God to you. We read in the Gospel of Matthew that he was tempted by the devil. He was taken in the desert by the Spirit. He fasted for 40 days and 40 nights and he got hungry. God got hungry. Then you're gonna give me your ideology, you're saying, oh, he was half God, full man. Come on, man, be rational, please. God got hungry, then he had to go to washroom when he ate, obviously. Then he slept. Supposedly he rested. Come on, this is, I think anyone who's got a bit of rationality will easily see, trying to make an argument against a human, that we say that yes, he's susceptible to being influenced by magic, to be under spells, to be sick, to be hurt, to be killed. But your God was tempted. God tempted by Satan. If you want to accept that, no problem. You're going to try to give me, but he was a man and he was just listen. Stick to proper arguments. Stick to what your book says, supposedly. And then another thing, you try to quote the Quran saying that Jesus is God, the Quran says Jesus is God. That's like saying an atheist is trying to quote the Quran to say that that God exists, or an atheist trying to quote the Bible to say that God doesn't exist. Sorry, I said God doesn't exist, not exist. An atheist trying to quote the Bible that God doesn't exist. Prove from the Bible that God doesn't exist. Make up your arguments. Make up your mind. You can't get away, man. Assalamu alaikum.